Hi, this is Paul from the Sunshine Coast Blockchain Group. I'm just going to take you through a quick procedure on how to set up some charts on the TradingView site that Ken was kind enough to speak to us about last week. TradingView.com is the site we need to go. And what we need to do, if you've never been on this before, is join for free. You basically put in your email address, username and password, and then from there you get an email asking for a confirmation and it brings you back to this page. So what I'm going to do is just sign into it. That way I can just get into what we need to do here. Okay, so this is what you get when you first open it up. You've got all sorts of assets all over the place because this particular site doesn't just do cryptos, it does all standard assets including the S&P, Nasdaq, gold, etc. and all the other companies. So what we want to do is clean this all up because we want it specifically for crypto. So what I'm going to do is firstly hit this chart button here. We don't have any charts at this stage, but I'm going to hit the charts because that's what we want to look at mainly. This site does a million of other things as well, but at this particular point we're just going to do it. And because it's free, we're going to get a lot of little pop-ups here and there, but it's well worth the inconvenience to keep going through this. So what we're going to do firstly is get rid of a lot of these watch list things here on the right hand side and the buy sell prices. We'll just clean up the screen. So we just click these boxes off, and in here too with all these other watch lists of all the standard assets, we're going to turn all these off by hitting that X there. So we're just going to clean that up. Okay, so from here on the left hand side here up the top, this is where we start putting in our codes for the cryptocurrencies. For instance, let's look at Bitcoin, which we know is BTC. It starts giving you a whole list of other assets that you can use with the Bitcoin against the US dollar, the euro, the British pound, also against a lot of other coins. So for instance, if I want it, let's say against US dollar. They're already listed there, but I can just do that, and here we go. So then on the right hand side here, you look at all the exchanges in which they actually then refer to display. So I will just take it, say, off the Bitfinex site. So I click on that, and what you end up with is a Bitcoin versus the dollar, and this shows the chart. Again, here are those little pop-ups. We'll just turn them off for now. Thank you. Okay, important things to note are the actual periods, the time intervals in which these candles are shown. So in a lot of cases we've been told, again this is not financial advice, but we've been told that a 4-hour indicator is a very good indicator to use. With the mouse wheel you can scroll so you can actually open up the chart and do your analysis from there. Again, I'm not giving advice on this, all I'm doing is showing you how it's done. So at this particular point, we have got that Bitcoin versus US dollar. Okay, so if that's something we want to keep looking at on a regular basis, on this right hand side here we can add a symbol. So what we can do is put, say, BTC against USD, and again we have those choices. I like the Bitfinex one. So now what happens is whenever you click here on this symbol, the chart will pop up here on this left hand side. So let's have another example. Let's look at BTC, or Bitcoin versus Ethereum. So ETH is the Ethereum. Oops, doesn't go that way. We'll go ETH versus Bitcoin, maybe. That's better. Again, I'm going to this time look at the Parabolic site. Okay. So again, we have the same situation. We've still got it as a 4-hour trading interval. And what I might do is actually add that onto this side as well. I like the idea of that. And again, we'll use the Parabolic one. So now you can keep adding these symbols. So if I click the top one, the chart goes back to the Bitcoin US dollar, and that's the chart here, or the Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So you can just add as many different comparisons down on your watch list there and have them there. Now the next thing to look at, which helps in identifying patterns, is to look at some of these indicators that are available. You get 3 indicators for free on this particular TradingView chart while you're using it for free. So the first thing obviously is to get to know what these candles all mean On the Sunshine Coast Blockchain Group YouTube channel, if you look up Sunshine Coast Blockchain, you'll see there's an introduction to candlesticks where you can actually go through and learn what each of these things mean. The basics are: green mean a general upward trend, market opens at the bottom, closes at the top. A red candle basically means it opens at the top and closes at the bottom within that interval. And these wicks below and above the candles refer to the trading volatility between the the two price ranges. So trade within that interval, traded as high as here and as low as there. You can see general downtrends, and these lines at the bottom here, the vertical lines, refer to volume. So that tells you a lot in itself, but there are three indicators that Ken talked about that we want to use, and thank you to the STIA guys at QUT, which gave us their time to help us understand what these indicators mean. So if we click on indicators, we can turn them on. We're going to turn on Bollinger Bands. We are going to turn on Keltner channel, and we're going to look for Parabolic SAR. So those are the three that we like to use. I'm not going to go into excuse me, I'm not going to go into too much detail on what these things mean. There's plenty of information out there on the net to explain what all these things mean. But that, if you were at the meeting last week, Ken went into a lot of detail about how those things went. But this is how you set these things up. So because you've signed in, because you've logged in, every time you open up this program, it's going to remember those three indicators that you've got. It's also going to remember your watch list here. Again, these indicators, another thing to note I should add is that these indicators change dramatically depending on the time period or the time interval that you're using. For instance, when you look at a one-day chart, the indicators can change because each candle refers to a specific day. So that's why it's a lot more complex than just saying it's going up or down. There's a lot of factors to do with time intervals, as well as the three aspects of the Bollinger Bands, Keltner channels, and the Parabolic Sars. So, yep. So anyway, that's how you do that. Just for the exercise, we'll just go through. Let's add another symbol here. I like to look at Bitcoin Cash. Let's see, BCH versus ETH. That's an interesting one that I like to look at. So now I've got that here on my list. I can click on that, and that shows some interesting things. That's over a day. I'll go back into 4 hours, which is my favorite one. Scroll back, and again you've got the three things. The inner one here is the Keltner channel, the outer bands are the Bollinger, and the dots are the Parabolic Sars. Okay, so we might do a little bit more on that, but initially this is the setup. Again, Google those three aspects: Bollinger Bands, Keltner channels, and Parabolic Sars, and I'm sure you'll get a better understanding on the chart reading. Okay, good luck with that.